Hello sports fans, it is NOMAH back with another card opening video for your entertainment, but today we're not opening cards, we're talking about cards specifically. We're talking about Rafael Devers and all the implications of his shocking trade from the Red Sox to the Giants, which just went down. I'm recording this on Sunday night. I am the best Faja ever. If you are familiar with Austin Powers, you'll get that joke. My son gave me this shirt today, and I am shocked. I am disbelieving. I have to say happy Father's Day to all you dads before I go any further. But oh my gosh, I was sitting here wondering what Monday's video was going to be about, and now we know. I promise that we're going to talk about baseball cards and the implications of his trade on his baseball cards. But first, let's just talk about the facts. Fact, Rafael Devers, franchise player, $313 million contract. Fact, Rafael Devers, not very happy recently. He hasn't been happy since they signed Alex Bregman. Fact, Brez and Cora did not handle this situation very well with Rafael Devers. We all know that. They did not. The Boston Red Sox did not handle this well. As a psychotherapist, as a manager of 30 people for a long, long time, I can tell you, people's psychology matters. You got to tell people, doesn't matter how much you're paying them. You got to tell them what you're doing, why you're doing it. I remember when my number two in my old business got nervous because I was hiring my number three, who was very clearly my number three, was not in any position to usurp him, but he was nervous and I had to communicate with him about it. Like, hey, this guy's not taking your spot. He's not coming in on the inside track. You're my guy. You've been my guy for a long time. He was my franchise player. He was my cornerstone guy. When I left that business, he took it over. He's still running it. So I had to communicate with that really clearly with him. And I can tell you the psychology of Rafael Devers, all of these guys, they have fragile egos. You know, yes, they can get up in front of 35,000, 50,000 people, millions of people watching them on TV, and they can perform, but they still have fragile egos. They need to know that they're the man. They need to know that they're valued by the team. They need to know that people care about them. We're all just human beings. Doesn't matter if you're making $313 million. He's a human being. He loves playing third base. I can tell you guys this too. When I played in high school, I played first base. That was my position, first base. I hit fifth in the order. That was my spot, fifth. I led the Framingham, Massachusetts Babe Ruth League 2 years in a row in home runs. But here was the problem. We made it to the playoffs one year, and our coach decided to shuffle the order. He moved me to cleanup, and I was terrible. And all of the guys who had been hitting in front of me were terrible because we weren't used to hitting out of order. I wish I could tell you that I just moved to clean up and crushed it, but I didn't. It's not what I was used to. I put too much pressure on myself. It was terrible. The next year, playing first base, we didn't have a DH in my league. There was a kid on our team that could hit the ball a country mile, but he was, shall we say, not as athletic as I. He couldn't run like I could. So I got put into right field, and I hated it. And I slumped, and it took me a long time to start hitting again. And I did lead the league in homers, but I only hit half as many as the year before, and we didn't make the playoffs. Listen, it's just ball player psychology. You get used to a certain thing, and that's what you love. Rafi loves to play third. He's not a great third baseman, but he loves to play third, and he's worked really hard to go from being a terrible third baseman to being a passable third baseman. And they go out and they sign Alex Bregman for $40 million, and they're not going to not play the guy. And there was all this talk about moving him to second, but Christian Campbell has a great spring training, and they put him at second instead, all of which were mistakes. They should have just not signed Bregman or signed him telling him he was going to play second base, or they go to Rafael and they say, listen, if we trade for Arenado or if we sign Bregman, will you be happy? Because Rafael Devers is a very outspoken person, and he had been outspoken in the past about the Red Sox not making enough moves. So they should have said to him, do you want us to do this? Are you willing to move off of third base? Are you willing to be the DH? But as far as I can tell, they did not have that conversation with him. Then, when Tristan Casas got hurt, they didn't move him to first base. Apparently they had conversations and they asked him if he would go to first base, and he said no. And because he was already so upset, they, I guess, didn't want to force him to. But this is just insanity. This is crazy. It is on him to not move over to first, but it's also on them to not put him back at third when Bregman got hurt. Bregman got hurt. They could have moved him back to third. Everybody's happy. When Bregman comes back, they stick him at second because Campbell, as much as I love the gingerbread man, He needs to go back to AAA. He's not ready to play at third. I love the guy. He's awesome, but he's not ready. So this whole thing is just an absolute disaster zone. And when I read, credit to my friend and patron, Shawn, friend of the channel. Shawn and I talk every day. I love the guy. Shawn, you're the man. He's the one that broke this news to me. And now I'm breaking it to some of you, unfortunately, but probably by the time you see this video, you will have already heard this news. So let's talk a little bit about the deal, and then we'll talk a little bit about the implications for the cards involved, of the players involved. So, Rafael Devers goes to the San Francisco Giants for Kyle Harrison, Jordan Hicks, James Tibbs, and Jose Bayo. So, most of you have probably heard of Kyle Harrison. Kyle Harrison, pretty good rookie a couple years ago, pretty heralded. This year, 4.56 ERA, 1.27 WHIP. I did not have time to look up his expected ERA, but I would expect his ERA to be a bit lower given what his WHIP is. So he might be having some problems with BABIP, or he might be having some problems with his xERA. I don't know. But you'd think that ERA would be a little bit lower. Now, my guess is that Kyle Harrison has the opportunity for his card prices to go up. Apologies to those of you that live in the Bay Area, but there's just more massholes like me who collect Red Sox cards than there are San Francisco Giants fans. So with the exception of Barry Bonds, name me 5 guys whose cards have been really hot in the last 20 years. Go ahead, I'll wait. See, you can't do it because it just hasn't been true. And some of you might be throwing stuff at the computer going, Willie Mays, Willie McCovey, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just gonna take this opportunity to say, if you like those players, please like the video because it really helps the channel to grow. But, of course, I love Willie McCovey and Willie Mays as much as the next guy. I love Matt Williams, Kevin Mitchell, Will Clark, one of my favorite players of all time. Barry Bonds, I mean, he had a head the size of a watermelon by the time he was done because of all the steroids, and he's not a very nice guy. But, of course, the greatest, most prolific home run hitter of all time. Okay, fine. I'm not psyching on the Giants. They have a beautiful ballpark. They have a very storied, illustrious franchise. I'm just saying, if you play for New York, Yankees or Mets, you play for Boston, you play for Los Angeles, there's more demand for your cards. It affects your card values. So if Kyle Harrison comes to the Red Sox, figures things out, becomes an ace or anything resembling an ace, his card values are definitely going to go up. There's some ways in which I like this move because the Red Sox did need another really high quality starting pitcher to go along with Garrett Crochet, and they got that. I mean, Kyle Harrison potentially, when you combine him with Garrett Crochet, really stitches together that Red Sox rotation. You see what I did there? So they're going to make some beautiful music together. Jordan Hicks, I don't know what the idea is here. Maybe they put him in the bullpen as just a high leverage, high velocity arm. 6.47 ERA, 1.54 WHIP. That is ugly. UGLY. You ain't got no alibi. Those numbers are just ugly. However, Jordan Hicks has been good at times in the past, both for the Cardinals and for the Giants. I kind of feel like he was a little bit of a throw-in in this deal, to be honest with you. I feel like as far as the Major League team is concerned, Kyle Harrison is the big fish. James Tibbs, first-round pick for the Giants, 13th overall. He's having a good year. He's got 12 bombs already in high A, and he's got an 857 OPS. So this kid is very good, and you know, the Red Sox, this might be kind of like the trade of NOMAH back when we won the World Series in 2004. Everyone was wringing their hands over getting rid of Nomar Garciaparra. Maybe the Red Sox don't win the World Series if they don't make that trade. I mean, Theo at the time was saying, we've got to improve our defense. This was the best way to do it. I got rid of NOMAH, and here we are. So who knows? They also got Jose Bayo, whom I don't know if he's related to Brian Bayo or not, but he has a 2.00 ERA and a .72 WHIP in the Arizona Complex League. So he is like at the lowest level of the minor leagues right now, but still those are very, very, very good numbers. So the Red Sox basically got 2 really good prospects, 1 decent major league pitcher and 1 extremely mercurial in Jordan Hicks major league pitcher who basically either is water or gasoline. You never know when you throw him on a fire what's going to happen. He might put the fire out. He might make the fire way worse. But let's talk a little bit. I mean, I don't think that Jordan Hicks' cards are really going to be affected by this. Jordan Hicks' cards are not collectible. If James Tibbs makes it big, obviously these cards will be more valuable than if he stayed a Giant. So his cards are worth pursuing. Jose Bayo, I'm 99.9% sure doesn't have any cards yet, but we'll keep an eye on the young man. Now, Rafael Devers' card just went zoom. they just took a nosedive because Rafi, I gotta be honest, like for me as a Red Sox fan, I'm not gonna collect him anymore. And there's tons of Red Sox fans who only like a guy if he's on the Red Sox. Does that make me a fair weather fan? I don't think so, because my other two favorite players are Pete Alonso and Corbin Carroll, neither of whom play for my Red Sox. But Jim Ed Rice, my favorite player of all time, Red Sox. Roger Clemens, Red Sox. I mean, Tristan Casas, Red Sox. I don't think I'd be at all interested in Tristan Casas if he didn't play first base for the Red Sox. Right now he's injured. We don't know when he's coming back. We don't know if he'll be any good. But if you play first base for the Boston Red Sox, I'm going to be way more interested in you than if you play first base for, say, the Houston Astros. That's just how it is. I grew up in Boston. I was a first baseman. That's what I'm interested in. So I think that Devers' cards are going to take a hit. Not to mention the fact, not only is he leaving a larger market for a smaller market, and again, my apologies to the Bay Area if you're like, well, we're not a small market. But, as far as collectability goes, people on the East Coast are not seeing the West Coast games that occur at night. People on the East Coast are watching the East Coast games, and that's it. Red Sox, Yankees, Mets, and Dodgers, Cubs. I mean, the White Sox, if they had anybody good. But those are the most populous cities with the most storied franchises, and those are the guys who are most collectible. And again, apologies to the Giants, great franchise, but I'm just reporting the truth. I'm not saying I agree or disagree with it. A player going from the Red Sox to the Giants becomes less collectible. A player going from the Giants to the Red Sox becomes more collectible. That's just the way it is. The market is fickle. It's all about supply and demand. There's going to be less demand for Rafael Devers' cards now. There just is. That's just how it is. That's how it's going to be. Rafael Devers' cards are going to go down in value because of the less popular team he's playing for, but there's more. Hitters tend to be suppressed in San Francisco. So Rafael Devers, his stats were going to be better in Fenway than they're going to be at Pac Bell. So I'm sorry, but I refuse to call it anything but Pac Bell. I think they call it Oracle Park now. But anyway, I've been to that park many times. It is cold there. It is windy there. It's not as bad as Candlestick, but the weather is not good. I mean, the only reason why Barry hit all those home runs was because he was doing more steroids than McDonald's hamburger. So, this is just reality. His numbers are going to suffer. He's got 15 bombs right now. He's on pace for well over 30 home runs. He was going to be an all-star again this year. The Red Sox have just traded their most talented player, but also potentially their worst employee. And I think that they are sending a message to the rest of the team, especially the young guys that are coming up. I actually think they're sending two messages, okay? Message number one, do not be unprofessional, because one could argue that Rafi has been unprofessional by pouting about getting moved to DH and then refusing to play first base. Now again, I think that the Red Sox brass have a huge role to play in that because I think they mismanaged him terribly. But at the same time, I also see their point. As an employer, as a hiring manager, I get, like, sometimes you put as much as you can into somebody and you really, really try and you just have to cut them loose. Sometimes you make mistakes and you try to make amends and apologize for those mistakes and the person won't let it go. Sometimes they're just insufferable or intractable and there's nothing you can do about it. There's all kinds of ways it can play out. We're never going to know the truth of everything that went on. But this is just a bad ending to a bad situation that I think could have been avoided. I personally, as a Red Sox fan, am very disappointed because I thought we had Rafi and we were building around him for the next however many years. And as a matter of fact, when Chaim Bloom signed him to this extension, which I believe was 2 years ago, I said to my friends and my dad and all the Red Sox fans that I know, I said, well, at least we have Rafi to build around, and we have Roman Anthony coming up. We have Marcelo coming up. We have Christian Campbell coming up. I mean, we knew this, right? And so, it felt like everyone was going to build around Rafi, and then somehow Alex Bregman got involved, and everything went kablooey. So Bregman is going to come back at some point. I think that this does ultimately create another lineup spot. If they've been working on this trade for a while, we now understand why Yoshida just started his rehab, because you can only be on rehab for 20 days, and he's been on for 4, 5, 6 days now. So people have been scratching their heads going, well, where's Massa going to play? Because he's not well enough to play the outfield yet. He's got to play DH, but Rafi is dug in there at DH, so that's not going to work. So obviously, I think that the lineup pretty much looks the same, except you've now swapped out Devers for Yoshida at DH, which is a massive downgrade. You've got Narvaez still a catcher with Wong backing him up. You've got some combination of Romy Gonzalez playing first base alongside whomever they've got, Toro, flavor of the month, whatever, Campbell, I guess, stays at second now. You know, you've also got Wilyer Abreu coming off the DL pretty soon, so you're going to have to do something with Roman Anthony. I suspect maybe they're going to go ahead and send Christian Campbell down anyway and just put Rafael at second, move Duran over to center. Now you can keep Wilyer in right, move Roman Anthony over to left. Who Roman Anthony right now can't hit the broadside of a barn. He's overwhelmed, as a lot of rookies are when they first come up, but you got to give the kid some time. He's a Roman emperor. I mean, he's going to be exceptional. We just don't know if it's going to be this year or next year. But it seems to me like the Red Sox are punting. We're going to have another 500 season or worse, and they're dumping Rafi, and we're going to go ahead and invest in the future. Now, one silver lining, if you want to find one, is he had $250 million left on his contract, $254 million. The San Francisco Giants are paying all of that money. And they, by the way, have now created another problem for themselves because they have Matt Chapman at third. So are they just going to bring Rafi over to be their DH? They think that's going to make him happier? Now he's going to just go over there and pout in their dugout instead of ours. So, again, bad situation. All I can say is we did free up a little bit of money. It's too bad that Vladdy is locked up with the Blue Jays because you could have saved that $254 million, given it to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and let him play first base. Since Casas is coming back, we don't know when and we don't know how good. But this is just a really unfortunate situation in my opinion. I think that based on what I know, there's probably equal blame. I think that Cora and Breslow did not handle this well at all. I think that Rafael Devers did not handle it well at all. I don't know. I'm not in the room. I don't know what's going on. Rafi's still going to get paid. I'll still be rooting for the guy. I mean, I love Rafael Devers. I do. I mean, I'm attached to him emotionally. Homegrown talent since 2018. He's been with the Red Sox for 7 years. Of course, I love the guy. But he's no longer a Red Sox player, so I guess I'm just going to have to move on and get over it. I will say that it's hard to love the Red Sox right now. It's really hard to love the Red Sox right now. They got rid of Dave Dombrowski, who is easily a Hall of Fame executive, easily. They replaced him with Chaim Bloom, who's now about to go run another organization, the Cardinals. Seems like a very smart guy, drafted a lot of the people who are now coming up and starting to impact the Major League team, not to mention the fact that he's the one that signed Devers to this extension. I don't think Bloom did anything wrong. I do not know why they got rid of Bloom. He seems to be a brilliant guy, and it seems like Breslow is following more or less the same plan that Bloom did, with more or less the same Ivy League dialogue about, if you just compare side by side, someone ought to do a YouTube video of these two talking about baseball side by side. They sound exactly the same. And it's not a dig on Brez. He's obviously a very smart guy. I wish him nothing but the best because he's running my beloved Red Sox, who are literally in my blood. My grandfather played minor league baseball for the Red Sox. He got his pink slip signed by Hall of Famer Joe Cronin when he got cut in spring training. My father moved to Boston when he was 18, has loved the Red Sox his whole life, both because of the connection with his dad and just because he's lived there for forever, his whole adult life. I grew up there, probably been to over 100 games at Fenway with my dad. I love the place. Roger Clemens ran over my foot in his Porsche when I was a kid. I mean, I'm a Red Sox fan through and through, and I've got the scars to prove it. But this is rough. This is brutal. Just a terrible, terrible outcome, in my opinion. This whole thing could have been avoided if Rafi hadn't been such a big baby and or the Red Sox had handled him better starting in the offseason, starting 6 months ago. This is all avoidable. Stupid, ridiculous, frustrating. I'm bummed out. I'm upset. I was actually ironically getting ready to stop PCing Rafi anyway because I have too many guys that I PC. So he's not making the cut. Bo Bichette's not making the cut. Lou Bob's not making the cut. If you want a nice set of cards of any of those guys, let me know. Francisco Lindor and Jose Ramirez, I've got a close friend who just started collecting. He's about to get all those cards. I'm just like, I'm trying to consolidate here. So now it makes it really easy to let go of my Rafi cards, but at the same time, they're not going to be worth as much. So it's kind of like, you know, all my rare Wander Franco cards now. It doesn't take nearly that big a hit, and obviously Rafael Devers didn't do anything near what Wander Franco is alleged to have done. But anyway, it's just a bummer. So I'm on the road. I don't have another rip ready to go for you guys on Monday. I will on Tuesday. So I hope you enjoyed my analysis of this situation, such as it is. This is just 20 minutes of my off-the-cuff venting, rambling, analyzing, getting in the muck and mire, and I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated by this whole situation. This is a big bummer, and I just don't know what to do. I'll probably still hang on to my 4 out of 10 Rafael Devers rookie card. I think Clint Frazier and some other guy are on there as well. I got a good bargain on it because of that. I don't know. I might trade it. I'm just, wow. I'm glad I don't own a Rafael Devers jersey. I feel bad for my friends who adore Rafael Devers and who live in the Boston area. You know, Shawn, Kip, Jason. I mean, Paul, my patron who collects Rafi. Curious how you feel about this, Paul, because you're a Cubs fan. So I don't know. These are my thoughts. This is my analysis. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what you think of this trade. If you think the Red Sox got enough, if you think it's a Red Sox fault or Rafi's fault, and what you think it's going to do to his card values. I'd be very interested to hear more about it. If you want to trade for a lot of Rafael Devers cards, and you're not Shawn, whom I'm hoping will pull the trigger and I'll trade these to you, man. But let me know. Also, Lewis Robert, also Bo Bichette. I got to get rid of some of these cards. So anyway, I'm in DC. Hopefully going to go to the Rockies and Nationals game tomorrow. I don't have a Red Sox hat with me because I'm getting ready to go to the Rockies game, and I kind of ran out of room and packing. But yeah, this is rough. This is rough. So for all you Red Sox fans, just to make you feel a little better, I'll tell you my favorite Red Sox joke. So there's a guy who drives truck in Boston every day, and he takes the same route every day, and he gets bored. You know, it's the same thing day after day after day. So after a while, he devises this thing in order to amuse himself, which is whenever he sees a guy wearing a Yankees hat, he pulls over like he's going to hit him, and then he pulls off at the last minute just to see the guy get upset. So one day he's driving along, and he sees a priest broken down by the side of the road. He says, "Hey, Father, you need a ride?" And the priest says, "Oh, my son, that would be amazing. I'm going to be late for Mass. God bless you." He says, "Get in, Father." So the priest gets in. They're driving along. He sees a guy in a Yankees hat, and just out of sheer habit, he pulls like he's going to hit him and then pulls off at the last minute, and he hears a thump. And he goes, "Hey, Father, don't worry, I didn't hit that guy." And the priest goes, "That's all right, my son. I got in with the car door." All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you're still here after 22 minutes of me rambling and you haven't subscribed, what in the heck are you waiting for? Bash that subscribe button. Hope you guys have a great rest of your night. I'll be back with a rip for you guys tomorrow night. And even though our hearts are heavy that our dear Rafi has departed from Fenway, still, keep that big smile on your face because baseball cards are awesome and NOMAH loves you. We'll see you guys next time.